my name. Taxation is an indispensable tool for government worldwide to raise revenue and promote economic development, as domestic revenue mobilization is key to sustainable development globally. Generally, the productivity of the Nigerian tax system has not been encouraging, mainly due to the low level of voluntary tax compliance. Consequently, the government has, over time, embarked on various tax reforms to ensure maximum performance of tax system for better economic outcomes. Again, the present administration has proposed revenue reform bills 2024 to the National Assembly to amend four laws, namely the Nigerian Tax Administration Bill, the Nigerian Revenue Service Establishment Bill, the Nigerian Tax Bill, and the Joint Revenue Board Establishment Bill. So this is our talking point this morning. An expert is here to talk more about it. We'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll hit ground running. Please, just stay with us. Welcome back. If I just joining us, the program is Business Today, and today we're taking a look at the tax reform or by the federal government. And to do justice to it, I have Mr. Stephen Otimi Awurere, a financial expert and also Administrative Secretary, Budget, Ondo State Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget. It's a pleasure to have you on the show today.
Thank you, Mr. Kuli.
Let's take a look at this is a topic. It has all tongue wagging, and people are also talking more about this tax reform. But first and foremost, let's take a look at the tax system in Nigeria. How would you describe it?
The tax system in Nigeria has been, to my own mind, it has not been effective. It has not been progressive. It has not addressed the issue of fiscal management the way it ought to be. Tax, apart from mobilizing revenue for government, is supposed to be a tool of directing the economy, the fiscal health of the state or the economy of a state or a nation. So tax is just like it's supposed to be like a steering wheel in a vehicle that changes the direction of the economy howsoever the managers of the economy want to be able to perform this critical role, because one, the number of people in the tax net is small relative to the size of the population. The people who voluntarily, like you mentioned in your introductory remark, the people who voluntarily comply to tax payment, who voluntarily subject their income, their revenue to tax remittances, they are very small. And in that wise, tax is unable to regulate the taste, the demand for goods and products. Tax is unable to do that. It has not been effective in changing the taste. For example, in the advanced climes, if you want to discourage the consumption of a particular product, all you need to do is to increase the tax on that product. And that product, because the price will go up relative to other substitutes available, and because of that, you're able to discourage the consumption of that item.
So people will not patronize that.
People will not longer patronize that voluntarily because the tax system is working. But in our own, we have not been able to achieve that. So that's a sad commentary on our tax, and that's why I am a bit optimistic about this new. We'll
come to the new tax reform bill. Why do you think that Nigerians are not that favorably disposed to payment of tax here in Nigeria?
It is it's not that we're not favorably disposed. It's, I think we got it wrong when we had this excess fund from crude oil sales, and to me, that's the that's the that's the saddest thing that happened to us as a nation. When we had that oil, so instead of that oil is coming straight to the purse of the federal government, and they don't need the taxes from the people. Even before now, taxes, people pay tax. During the time of our law, they pay tax. My father, living in the very remote Rivers Rand area, used to tell me that they used to pay tax. They are traveling, they travel with their tax. They are riding their rally bicycle. You see them tie their tax papers to that rally bicycle. They used to pay in the days of our law, before the advent of crude oil. It was the discovery of oil that made government to relax. They no longer pursue tax payments, and so the new generation did not grow up with the culture of tax payment to government. So now, if you are now asking them to pay, it's like you are asking for something from the blues, from the moon. They are not used to it.
Is it because of that, or because they cannot see that development in their areas that also enable them to pay tax?
I disagree a little from that. It's my own theory that the problem we have in this country today is because development is not funded by the people through tax. Nobody is concerned. It's like, let's take roads, for example. If people want to protest today, the first casualty is our roads, because you see them make bonfires on the roads as a sign of protest. Why? That road was not built through the mobilization of taxes from individuals. If it has been individuals that pay tax to build that road, nobody will want to destroy that road. They will not want to destroy that road. And people are not interested in governance because they did not have this feeling that it is our money. If that, for example, my own something is that if I have my way, I will get all the money that government can get. I'm just saying this hypothetically. Get all the money, distribute it to all the people. When we distribute it, now compulsorily take it back in form of taxes. Even the crude, distribute it as subsidy to everybody. Compulsorily take tax from everybody to now build roads, to build schools, to fund development. People will now see it as, this is my money. That time, people will not debosebe.
They will take ownership of the
They will take ownership of development. They will take ownership of governance. Today, people are not taking ownership of governance. If anybody, they say somebody is corrupt, you see his people will even come out and say, Shebi is our son. He has stolen whatever he has stolen. Is not coming to our community. Because they did not know that he's stealing from them. They feel he's stealing from government. Government is a virtual person. It's not real to people. It's not our money. It's their money, government money. So if that money, if it has been distributed to every one of us, and government now mobilizes it back through taxes, we will have that sense of ownership. It will change a lot of things.
Is that why the series of tax reforms that we have had in Nigeria, is that why it's not working?
It is not working because the bulk of the developmental financing that we're still having in Nigeria is not coming from those taxes. It's coming from royalties paid directly to the coffers of government. So till today, the people own the developmental funding that they are seeing around them. It is government. And who is government? Some of us is not.
Do you think that this tax reforms 2024 bill that is before the National Assembly now also address this concern that you have raised here?
Well, to a certain extent, yes. For example, the issue of removal of fuel subsidy, that's part of the issue. The removal of subsidy now, it has increased the prices of goods and services. All of us were crying. But have you discovered that prior to the removal of fuel subsidy, if you mention the issue of wage increase, no state government will ever support it. Because they will tell you, we cannot fund it. But this fuel subsidy that has been removed now is going back to the states now in forms of allocation. That's why no state is complaining now that we cannot pay. All states are voluntarily complying now. No state is carrying placard that we cannot pay. Because these are the effect of these reforms. If any state government is not paying now, let's ask the governor. Will he say he's not getting enough money? So I believe that gradually, we won't get there in a dash. It's going to be a form of a marathon. We'll be slow and steady. I think we are making progress in the right direction.
So holistically, what's your take on the tax reform?
Holistically, I feel that we need it. It is important. It is needful if Nigeria must progress. We need it. It is, in fact, the time is now. So that people, and if they pay for it, they will take ownership and they will protect it.
And for those who do not know, the reform will be taking a look at four bills. We're looking at the Nigerian Tax Administration Bill. Yes. What does it mean?
Yes, that is the part of the bill, multiple taxes from different, for different agencies and taking taxes in a multiple form. That want to address the issue of how do I put it now? If you want to take tax, take it once. Don't take 1 naira here, take 50 kobo here. Let's unify everything. Let's know that the total tax that we will be paying will be 10 naira. If we want to address the quantum, then we will be able to address and say, no, it is too much.
There will not be double taxation.
There will not be double taxation.
But don't you think that could also create a problem? I know of a state who takes care of the tax as supposed to go to the local government, and that is also going straight to the state, to the purse of the state government.
Now that will now be addressed through distribution. If we take that single tax, where is this single tax? Where is it going to? Maybe we'll say, okay, 10% of this tax is going to, let's use hypothetically, 10% is going to Mr. Kunle to address roads. 5% is going to local government. 3% is going to SUBEB. As if we now say, okay, you want to execute a contract. You are already taking VAT 7.5. You now say education endowment fund 2%. Another infrastructure development fund, another 1%. It is let's take VAT, let's take it maybe 15%. But out of this 15%, 1% is going to basic education. So it will still address all the things that those things are supposed to address. It will just be one collection to be now redistributed to those various points where they will be used
by government.
by government.
The other one is also this Revenue Service Establishment Bill.
This is about the agency that will now collect that tax on behalf of every one of us.
Okay.
It will now be a single agency collecting tax.
Will it not be Federal Inland Revenue again?
Yes, it will no longer be Federal Inland Revenue because what the tax they want to collect is not only going for the federal, it's for the federation. There's a big difference between the federal and the federation. It will now be an agency of the federation, meaning that the federal government, state governments, the local governments, they all have a stake in the management of that of this new agency.
Maybe that's also why the bill is also looking at the Joint Revenue Board establishment.
Exactly. It will now be a joint board that will manage everything holistically. Everybody will just be getting their own share of the tax, so that you now dissipate less energy. You still get what you are supposed to get at the end of the day.
So how beneficial will this be to Nigerians, especially the commoners?
This is, in recent times, this is the best tax law that has addressed the issue of poverty. What this law is now saying, before now, whatever income you earn between 1 naira and 300,000 naira in a year, if you earn between 1 naira and 300,000 naira in a year, you have to pay a tax of 7%. It means if you are earning 10,000 naira, you are still going to pay about 700 naira as taxes. Now, the new law is saying if you earn between 1 naira and 800,000 in a year, you are going to pay 0. Meaning you are already exempted from taxes. It means this bill is saying for the poor, the poorest of the poor, we are not going to take money from you. We allow you to struggle so that you get out of, can you imagine, the 70,000 naira minimum wage that we are talking now. Anybody taking 70,000 naira, I've done the little calculation, I discovered that what the tax that they will pay will be just 500 naira, 500 naira per month.
Okay.
As taxes. So even civil servants, on the lower rung, you pay less tax. The way it is now, on the lower rung, you pay less tax. It is really, really addressing the issue of poverty. And why? If you do not have money to spend, if people do not have money in their pocket to spend, if you take money out of the pocket of people, you stifle production, because it is demand for goods and services that encourages production.
If those are the lower rank that, as you've put it, are not paying taxes,
yes,
then how do we get money from one government?
You will still get money. It is now that if you earn more, if you are earning more, you pay more. That's why I call it progressive. It's this one taxes the rich more than the poor.
What about the business owners?
The same thing in businesses. If you are operating a cottage business whose turnover is less than maybe 5 million naira in a year, you pay less. But if your turnover is about 100 million in a year, you pay more. It's still the same thing. So that small businesses can have time and space to grow. When they grow, they now pay more.
There had been this kind of agitation, I call it, from a section of the country, actually not willing that the bill says through the National Assembly. What would you say is also wrong with this bill that's also making them to be agitated?
For me, as a person, I feel those strong voices against this bill. Let's look at their income bracket. Those strong voices, those vociferous voices. Let's look at their income level. You discover that they belong to the upper echelon, the rich. And like I said, this tax is not too friendly to the super rich. It takes more from them. So to me, I feel they are just.
Ordinary, that is the way it should be.
That is how it should be. If you earn more, for crying out loud, so that you can go to your house, sleep with your two eyes closed, pay more, so that people at the lower can be taken care of. That's how it should be. But I think the super rich will not like this bill too much because it's taking more.
And then that section of the country is not also contributing as much as they expect to the federating account.
Exactly. For example, let me just branch to this issue of the VAT. That section of the country, they take a lot on the basis of equality and population, they are taking a lot from VAT. And a sizable aspect of that VAT is coming from alcohol consumption, beer and all that. And they are not, the new reform is now saying VAT will be distributed according to consumption, because actually VAT is a consumption tax. If it is a consumption tax, then distribution must reflect to a certain extent the level of your consumption. So it means if you are not consuming a product, you should not be enjoying the VAT from that product.
You're also affected in Ondo State.
Well, yes, we are affected in Ondo State because the level of our consumption is low compared to places like Lagos or Abuja. But that doesn't mean that we will be that much worse off. No.
What about the VAT that's also been credited to other states from Ondo State?
Yes.
On MTN, on the data, on Airtime.
Yes, all those ones now. That's what this reform is looking at. It's saying that before now, data, VAT on data, VAT on airtime, banks, bank operation. You have bank branches there in Ondo State. VAT on all those activities, they are remitted through their head offices. It means if we are talking of derivation, Ondo State will not be part of it. It's through the head office. Ondo State will not be part of it. But now, this reform is saying, if we want to calculate derivation, we look at the place where it is consumed. So it means if banks are paying VAT, banks in Ondo State, if they are paying VAT, we are now going to be part of it.
So if the new reform comes on stream now,
yes,
we also get more money.
We get money from, yes.
Okay.
We get it.
So ultimately, to you, this is a good bill.
It's a good bill. It's an equitable proposal on how to distribute the wealth of the nation.
Just before I let you go, because I also from the budget department in Ondo State,
yes,
and the state government has just presented a budget called the budget of recovery.
Yes, sir.
And in that budget, the capital expenditure is higher than the current expenditure. So why do we have it like that?
The capital side drives development. Capital is what drives development. Capital recurrent is just services, but capital development is what the people of the state, the common people, is through the capital expenditure. That's where we build roads. That's where we build school. We provide water. That's where government provide water. All those common public goods, they are procured through the capital side.
So invariably next year we should also expect to see more projects.
Exactly.
From this budget.
Exactly. That's the implication. More projects, more people-centered